which is in power in a state government. What is it that you expect from the central government to tackle the water scarcity, to tackle the drought situation there?
Let me just give you some numbers, Arunima. We've requested about 3,000 crores of funding from the central government, anticipating the drought not now but in November last year. And since then it was just kept under pending, and finally they give approval for 759 crores, out of which 300 crores is released. So where is 3,000, where is 300? If as a state I have to plan for my drought and my water conservation or water distribution or whatever plan it is, how will I be able to do anything is a question. So central government has much more information than a state has, in terms of meteorological data and in terms of anticipating the drought. I believe they just don't have the intentions to do that. If they would have done it, easier for the states to work with them.
So with state government representatives alleging that the centre is just not interested, in that context, this discussion which is happening inside Lok Sabha as we speak, is that just semantics, or will this discussion actually lead to something on the ground?
It's a very tedious and a long drawn process. If first of all a state government declares so many districts X, Y, Z as drought hit, now there is a team from the central government which will visit those districts. There will be a report which will be coming back. Then the centre will take a decision. It's a very, very long drawn process. Imagine 1/3 of this country, out of 700 odd districts, 250 odd districts are drought hit. It's a huge situation. It's a bad situation. We need to make these processes more simplified, And secondly, in a federal structure, ultimately the implementing authority is the state government. You have to take them into confidence,
right?
And then you have to ask them, what is it that you need? A state like Telangana, their needs will be entirely different from that of Uttar Pradesh.
So that's why actually the next question, because the central government will say, ultimately it's the state government's responsibility. We can help you, but the initiative has to be from you, the state government.
Yes, that's why we send the reports very early, very ahead in time. But as Sumiti had rightly said, why do we need in this tech era for a visit from the central government team at all? You just look at data in a computer and understand that this area is going to face drought. What is the big deal? Today you can predict tsunami like 3 months ahead. So why such lapse?
But even if you can predict a drought situation, if you can understand through your satellite data or through other scientific measures, once you know that this is going to be hit by a drought situation or a water scarcity, what can the centre do? Apart from warning you, is it not the responsibility of the state government to implement it?
Let me just tell you, Arunima, we are not shrugging away all our responsibility. We've planned ahead. Ultimately it is the state funds which is 90% to cater to the drought needs. Only 10% of the funds come from the central government. If that funds, if you're not doing a favor to me, it is your country, you are ruling the country today. So that understanding the central government should have is what I say, that empathy, not even understanding.
It's a very complex thing, If you go through the annals, you find that, say, due to heavy rainfall, if there is a disaster, probably it comes under Home Ministry. Yeah. But suppose if there is a hailstorm, probably it comes under the Agriculture Ministry.
So is the red tapeism, is the bureaucracy reason why the state governments are realizing that empathy is missing here in Delhi, here at the corridors of power? That's what is getting discussed even as we speak inside Lok Sabha, and we'll have to see if some speaker comes up from there as an MP who speaks very well, because so far we think Arun Jaitley and Jayant Sinha in their insolvency and bankruptcy code, as well as in the finance bill, the people who stood out as MPs of the day. So would you agree, Jayant Sinha?
For the HRT discussion in the Rajya Sabha, some very good speakers, and Smriti Irani is to reply.
Okay, Sumit is holding on his horses, but for us, for now, for whatever we have seen since morning, it seems MP of the day would be Jayant Sinha, and the government is also getting a thumbs up, because in spite of all Congress party-led opposition's overtures in Rajya Sabha, they are managing to get the legislative business through. They have managed to get the anti-hijacking bill passed last evening in the upper house. They also managed to get the insolvency and bankruptcy code passed in the Lok Sabha today. So it's thumbs up for government, and with that we will end Parliament Daily, but tomorrow when we come back, we will give you all the details of that march that Congress party is planning till the Parliament House to protest what they're calling is witch hunt in the Augusta West.